Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio today, Mr. Joe Witte. We follow up the Thursday night DeWitt County Board meeting. Good morning, Mr. Witte. Good to see you.
Good morning, Seth. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for making time for us as always. And boy, I'll tell you what, some real exciting news out of last night's meeting. What's going on?
Yeah, I agree. From excitement. We were approached by the executive director for the DeWitt County Development Council, Kurt Holman. He earlier this week informed the board and I think other taxing bodies that we have a potential manufacturer interested in some property here in Clinton, and they're looking to finalize a decision here in the near future as to whether they want to purchase this property and make Clinton their home. So
Nice.
We're doing what we can from the DCDC side to coordinate those discussions, and Kurt's really been taking the lead on that, and they approached the DeWitt County Board last night to look at some opportunity to maybe do some tax abatement or something of that sort to help offset some of the costs that they're going to have if they purchase this building that they're looking at. They've got a large investment that they're going to have to make in some upgrades. So just anything that we can do to help finalize that decision for them. That's kind of what Kurt has been working very hard at the last several weeks to try to get that lined up. So
Sure.
They did approach the county board last night, or they were there. We had a letter with this official request, and we had the opportunity to discuss that with them, and we can get into the details as you.
Yeah, well, and so first of all, tell us a little bit about this company. What do they do? They're looking at the R.R. Donnelly building. That's exciting. How about some of those details?
Yeah, so it's a quick wall company. I think they're based out of Springfield, and they've been growing. They manufacture what you'd call movable wall systems. So you think of a conference center at a hotel or something like that, and you need to divide a big room into multiple rooms. They manufacture the larger dividers, some of those accordion style walls. They've been doing that for some time. It's an old company with a storied history, but obviously that's become big in the last couple of decades. And in recent years, in fact, they had a news release out on their website about purchasing some intellectual property rights to some even larger systems. So they now have the capabilities to, manufacture and produce these much larger systems than what they had before. Well, the space that they had in Springfield, I don't think it was going to be able to allow them to do everything that they need to do. So they've grown. They've got a facility in Wisconsin, and then one in Mount Pulaski as well. And, you can imagine trying to coordinate, the manufacturing at 3 different facilities, the distribution. They distribute to 19 countries and throughout all U.S. So
Wow.
It's a big company, growing, doing a lot of great things. They got a great new contract that is going to require, the ability to have more facilities. And so our Donnelly was the old building is something that they were really interested in. From what I understand, they have signed a contract, but they had 30 days, to make a decision as to whether or not they want to back out for any reason. So that's why they were coming to the taxing bodies now, is to help finalize any decisions that they make. Can we as a taxing body do what we can to offset some of those initial 5-year taxes is what they're asking. Just because they're going to have to invest so much into that facility. Yeah. A couple million, I think, into a roof and then retooling. So they're going to be approaching the city of Clinton. They have approached the city of Clinton, and I think they're going to be discussing some tax abatement with them. The school board, obviously, has got a large chunk of the tax bill. So
Sure.
They're just looking to see what can we do to help, help them finalize that decision.
Yeah, and of course, not that you want them to be the sole, stakeholder in terms of just like that decision being made, but have they given you a number or any indication as to a reasonable number that would appease them, if you will?
Well, what they've started with, it was approaching the 3 largest dollar amounts from their tax bill. If you were to look at the R.R. Donnelly, that property, what the tax bill was, is just short of 65,000 for 2023. The vast majority of it, I think over 30,000, was the school board or the school district. I think Clinton was number 2, just under 20,000, and then the county's portion of that tax bill was about 5,500. Obviously that number can change. There's another, I think 5 or 6, maybe 7 different taxing bodies. You got, the library, the
EMS,
community center, things like that make up the additional 15%. But the lion's share were those 3, and so that's where they're starting. I think the intention is to approach all taxing bodies, but what we could do from the county standpoint is, we can abate or, offset those taxes somehow through economic development incentives for our portion of that, which was about 5,500 in 2023. And what they were looking for was a 5-year abatement. So, whatever that number does in the next 5 years, they were looking for some type of abatement, and that's what we covered last night.
Any idea how many jobs this would create?
Well, it's hard to say how many it'll create versus how many are going to relocate or commute. Springfield, it's a decent commute, but when you have a facility like that and you're trying to do some consolidation, obviously you need to retain some of your existing employees. Ideally he's going to be able to retain a lot of that expertise because he needs to continue doing what they're doing. A lot of that will depend on how many want to make that commute, how quickly they can cut over facilities and do some consolidation. But they anticipate starting maybe near 100 jobs. Again, how many of those are new to DeWitt County versus just people commuting in? It's hard to say at this point. But when this is fully operational, it may be as many as 150 jobs. And like I said, they've been growing, so who knows what that'll do, into the future. Yeah.
Well, and to that end, while it may not be new jobs you're talking about, you're still talking about bringing people to Clinton, where they'll maybe go out for a lunch or they'll spend some, maybe jump into IGA or Save a Lot for some groceries and maybe take a gas on the way out of Dodge. And, that's money spent in the community as well.
Exactly. So, you don't take tax abatement lightly. You don't want every business coming in is not going to be the same, right? But we're talking about, potentially 100 to 150 good paying manufacturing jobs. They're union jobs. The owner did share a little bit about, the relationship that they have with the union. So,
I would say even that can be a little bit scary because you never know about, work stoppages and all that stuff. So
right. But they've got a good relationship. They've had success. They have a great benefits package, so they're doing the right things to keep the employees happy. And he did share news with them before this went to the county board. Kind of what the plans were. I don't know about the details of what they're being offered. The relocating or commute. How many of those jobs are going to commute and so on. But he's taking care of his employees, and obviously there will likely be some positions that we'll have to fill. So, DCDC can step into that space and help, with job fairs and things like that down the road if we can, get enough of incentives in front of them to help them finalize that decision and say, they want to make Clinton their home. So,
well, shoot, you may get people from Springfield that want to just move to Clinton.
You could,
to work. Or I don't know how the Wisconsin thing plays into this consolidation, but maybe you get a few Wisconsin folks that want to come down to Clinton and live here. So
and I don't know what the overall numbers are
right.
their current employees and how long they would keep those facilities open. Some of them maybe they will continue to operate. They didn't get in too much into the details, but it's clear that they do want to expand. They need more facilities, and Clinton offers a great location to do just that. So,
right.
They may keep other facilities open for longer, but this is exciting. You don't very often get somebody wanting to bring manufacturing jobs like that into an area. So if we can abate some taxes, and what we, like I said, we didn't structure our agreement with them as a tax abatement per se. We've got an economic development fund that we're going to use to basically offset what their annual tax bill would be.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You know, that's
So
money
you
set
would
aside.
so you wouldn't have to go through the process of like reducing the tax rate for a certain amount of time on them, basically.
Correct. We're
Because that's what I was thinking. I mean, that can't be a easy, quick process.
So I think that we haven't done an abatement at least in the time that Mr. Markwell has been our state's attorney, about 10 years. My understanding is essentially we are, they would not be taxed for that portion of the the property, but the taxing bodies still have that tax revenue, so it's more or less dispersed amongst the other taxpayers.
Fair enough. Okay, gotcha. So that would make that process a little easier.
It does for us because we've got, like I said, money set aside for economic development. So why don't we use it? Because that's essentially what tax abatement is. It's economic development. It's a way to kind of stimulate some of that. So we've got a fund for that. I'm not sure if Clinton does. I don't think the school district does.
I don't think so.
So, how they approach it might be a little bit different than what we did. But like I said, we were able to offset, get them what they wanted from a dollar standpoint out of our economic development fund, make that commitment as long as they're, able to close on that property and as long as they, as long as they own and operate that for as long as 5 years.
Very good, man. Exciting stuff, Mr.
It
Witte.
is.
What did I miss in that conversation? I feel like I didn't drive the discussion very well. What did I miss in there?
I think as you get maybe Kurt Holman in here, he can probably share a little bit more on the plans from the DCDC's perspective and give you a little bit more information on the company. But I think the main thing is, it's not a done deal. They've got some time. They've got an agreement, but they have some time to evaluate that, and they are looking at other options. But I think we've got Kurt driving those discussions with the county. We got that done last night. The school board and Clinton are on deck, and I think they're going to eventually approach all the different taxing bodies. So, yeah, it is exciting. We just need to hope that we can offer enough of a package to get them to to stay the course, and then be as early as later this year. They'd like to be up and running.
Wow.
So
Nice.
they'd be investing a couple million, like I said, in that facility. I think in the roof and then maybe a couple more in improvements, a couple more million in getting the equipment ready, and how quickly we can get jobs filled and people working there. More to come, but
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed for the next 25 days or so it is. So, very good. Mr. Witte, thanks for doing that with us and sharing that information. Joe Witte is the DeWitt County Board Chair, our guest in studio. We follow up the Thursday night DeWitt County Board meeting, and more to come with him on the morning show.
WHOW.
Let me, Dr. Bill Byers, show you some simple, under-the-radar ways to improve and take control
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Mr. Joe Witte is the DeWitt County Board Chair, and again, we recap the Thursday night DeWitt County Board meeting. And Mr. Witte, let's just kind of go through some of these things here. We got a couple of appointments. How about some of these appointments we went through last night?
Yeah, so we had a vacancy in our ethics officer position that was filled last night. Mr. John Butts is he comes recommended from Sheriff Walker, actually, who knew him and had worked with him years ago. But he is going to be responsible basically for any type of investigations, or if we have complaints of wrongdoing, or there's a state statute that that we model and have this position as a result of. But John comes with some experience in law enforcement and doing those types of investigations. So in the unfortunate event if something like that were to occur in DeWitt County, Mr. Butts would be charged with doing the investigation and turning over his findings to whoever that may be, whether it be the state's attorney or department heads. So we got him appointed, got that position filled, and then added Rich Parker to the RPC. We had a vacancy there. So we got those accomplished last night, and I think we got some good folks in positions that needed filled.
Sounds good. I know no action out of land use, but anything from Mr. Carter and what they're working on?
Really, we were looking at land use. What are we going to focus on in 2025? With the last several years, we've been looking at the wind ordinance, the solar ordinance. We need to get a battery storage ordinance. A lot of those things are in the pipeline now. So land use was just kind of doing a look ahead to see what have we got coming up. And
what is battery storage all about? I heard that, and I'm wondering what that means.
Well, so we don't have it yet, right? We're just trying to get ahead of any requests that may come in. That's battery storage is, if you were to build a solar complex, but you're not feeding that energy directly into the grid, you're storing it on site for later injection into the grid. You'd store it in a battery system.
Okay.
And so, those are becoming more popular or more common. We just don't have anything to cover if somebody came in with an application for that. So we try to get ahead of the game, knowing that those are likely to start popping up more and more. And
are there any potential wind development projects on the horizon?
Nothing from a wind perspective that I'm familiar or aware of. We've got several. I think there's several solar applications in the queue for the grid. So. We don't know until they either reach out to us or submit an application. But
okay.
There's I think several that were in various stages of development. How quickly those move forward, it's hard to say. But
okay, sure.
We do have one that we're aware of where they have an application ready to submit. It's just waiting on an executed road use agreement. So
gotcha.
We will have some in the near future, but. I don't think that one is going to require battery storage. They're not looking for that. But, in the event somebody does come in with a request and they want to also have battery storage, we want to make sure that we have some technical requirements for that.
Makes sense. Public safety, I know an agreement for the weekend care and holiday care at the animal shelter.
Yeah, and this was just something that, we had an agreement with Jamin Critter Care. I don't know if it was the first time, it was a year ago, but that has come up for renewal, and we've made a few modifications to that agreement. Basically that it would automatically renew, but either party has 60 days to notify the other, if they want to modify or make any adjustments. We did rename some of the items in there. Instead of animal control shelter, we're renaming it to the facility to reflect what it really is. And just a few other items, dealing with holidays and having those holidays coincide with the county calendar and so on. So
how's new leadership at the animal shelter right now?
So far, so good. Obviously, I wasn't able to attend the last public safety meeting, but I think things are going well, and I think this is part of it, right? This is part of helping to make sure that we can, keep the facility at the level that it needs to be, even when we're in the off hours and weekends. So James M. Critter Care has helped quite a bit in that space, and I think from what I'm hearing, things are going well, and the facility's clean, and things are like I said, it's been about a month now that we've had grace in place. So
Yeah. Cool.
it's all good.
Very good. Let's move along to property and a bid for Central Illinois Coatings to do some repainting in the shower areas of the jail.
Yeah, we saw some pictures of what those showers look like at our last property meeting, and they were definitely in need of some repair. They I think Sheriff Walker indicated last night that a lot of those were the original painting. So we did approve a bid to repaint their 17 different showers. Just under $17,000. Sounds like a lot, but the equipment that they'll be using, the paint, the type that will help, the non-slip and design for, the facilities like that, where they're wet. It was the low bid out of 3, and it needs to get done. The facility definitely could use a facelift.
Sure. Very good. Let's see. Road and Bridge, what's going on here?
We did have a motion brought forward to purchase a Mack Granite tandem truck. We've been on a 2-year replacement schedule for those, but we've had good luck with that specific brand as we've been replacing some of our older international equipment. So, we're thinking that 10-year, we've been on a rotating every 2 years. We've been replacing one of the trucks, but that might be able to be extended based on the quality of these Mack Granite trucks. Yeah, $292,000 essentially for a new truck. So that
What kind of truck is this? Like, what's it do?
It's an old tandem truck. You use them for the dumping. I don't know if they haul salt or gravel, whatnot. But they're the big trucks, and like I said, we've got several in the rotation, and we've been purchasing one about every couple of years to replace an older fleet. But like I said, these are good quality trucks, and the costs have gone up every couple of years. But based on the quality of these, they are not anticipating that we're going to have to purchase any more for at least not the next couple of years. They don't foresee that. So,
Sure.
It's a big initial expense, but these things have got a long life, and we got that covered. And then one other item out of Road and Bridge, we had Triple Black Diamond Solar. They are working on an application, and they had some adjustments to a road use agreement that they are working through the county engineer on getting that finalized.
Sounds good. Well, Mr. Witte, maybe we'll do more on that next month. Mr. Joe Witte, DeWitt County Board Chair, our guest.